Okay, so I already talked about UFC 330 in a video I made last week, but now that the fight card is actually coming up, I think I want to talk about it again, see if there's new thoughts, maybe dive into some of the fights a little bit more deeply. I already said last week that I think that this card is a lot better than its reputation. It's being really heavily criticized for the lack of name value on it, but I don't really mind that so much as long as the fights actually, turn out to be entertaining. And from what I can see, from what I can identify, there's really promising matchups on this card. So I'm quite interested in it. It might turn out to be, if these fights are boring, then I think everybody who criticized it is completely right. You don't want to have a bunch of boring fights with no no name people. It's more tolerable if there are at least people that you know. But if it's no name people and the fights are great, then I don't really think there's too much to complain about, because there's just a limited number of stars on the roster, and you can't, if they don't want to fight, you can't book them. So what are you really going to do? But I think there's a lot of fights where I'm at least partly interested in one of the fighters involved at the very least. So that would be true for the first fight on the card, and this is a great fight on the like, if this is actually the first fight on this card, then it's a great opener. I'm honestly very, very surprised that they have it as the first fight. I can't quite believe that. I think that's probably gonna be not the first fight at the end of the week, because this oral by guy has a very good run at the moment. So he lost a split decision to Mateusz Rebecki, and then he Kimurat Tofik Mosayev, who just looked really good in his fight against, what was it, Ludovic Klein. He looked great in that fight. That was an entertaining, great fight. And so that win has aged very well. Then, of course, he brutally slapped Jack Hermanson out cold, which wasn't too impressive. Well, it wasn't impressive at all after. I mean, the unfortunate thing for him is that Gregory Rodriguez just did that to Jack Hermanson in the fight before. So everybody reacting to it was more pointing to Jack Hermanson's lack of durability and the concerning losing streak that he's on now, than to the KO power of Mick Dubek Orolbai. And that's fair, because Orolbai doesn't really... Oh, he actually has 7 knockout wins. That's actually quite a lot. But let's see. Ground and pound. Punches. Right, I just want to identify if there's like KO blows. There's a single punch he KO'd Charles Hayward with. Okay, so I mean, maybe he has some actual power in his hands. I haven't seen those performances, but me and many other people, we think that Jack Hermanson is super chinny, and not so much that Orolbai has this unusual power. With Gregory Rodriguez, it's a different story. I think that guy is actually super, super heavy-handed. But that's based on the way he looks and the way he throws his punches, and also the consistency with which he with which he brutalizes people when he punches them. So with Orobai, it's not such a consistent thing. So yeah. But anyway, it's still like you cannot really look any better given those circumstances. Because he still instantly finished him, took no damage at all. And then he outgrappled Chris Curtis for 3 rounds. Made it look pretty easy. Really frustrated the fuck out of Chris Curtis, which, I can understand why you would want to do that. To rage bait this guy. Yeah, and so he's fighting Jeremiah Wells. And I don't know too much about Jeremiah Wells, to be completely honest. Of course, I've seen this guy fight. He's a name that I don't know. Like he's a guy that you kind of know because he's been around. Yeah, so he's been around since 2021, and he's fought he's fought quite a few people with some name value. I mean, Wally Alves is kind of somebody that I think most people have sort of forgot by now. Court McGee, I thought it was spelled with an H in between, but I guess not. So Court McGee, also well-known fighter. Yeah, so beat that guy with a left hook. Rear naked choke this guy. Finished Wally Alves. Won a split decision against Matthew Semmelsberger. Got subbed by Carlston Harris. Lost a split decision to Max Griffin. That's not necessarily very good. And then he beat Themba Gorimbo, which is not really anything. Yeah, okay, so he's like... That's so interesting. He was booked against Nico Price and Andreas Gustafsson. That's so interesting. Okay, but I guess both of those couldn't happen for some reason. And then against Dalby. Yeah, so I already saw it. He's like a big underdog against Oral Bai. But honestly, just having a look at his record without having too much memorized, he has some very good wins. So maybe that's not too fair. It's understandable with the performances that Orobai has had, with the winning streak that he's on, and there's a weird aura about this guy. I mean, he does look like he does look like there's a lot of his eyes are very, very close together. I will say that. Okay, so that gives him a unique look. And so with his unique look, he does have a certain kind of aura, and he might have a... I don't know. I mean, he might win. But I think that the odds, just based on this very rough information of Jeremiah Wells's record, I think the odds are a little bit too heavy in favor of Orobai. I would sort of guess that. Yeah, you can like, I don't know, make him like a 2 or 3 to 1 favorite instead. Yeah, okay, so we have Neil Magny is actually the favorite in his fight currently. Okay, it's near even, minus 110 for each person. And I just want to go into the records of both men, just to see where they're at in their careers, you know what I mean? Because, like, obviously Neil Magny is ancient, and there's this question, how long can he continue? How old is Neil Magny now? Right, almost 40. Oh no, actually he just turned 39. But still. Okay, so yeah, the thing is he's not getting knocked out. And you can see he's also getting wins. Um, these are not bad wins either, that's the interesting thing. Zaleski dos Santos, Alese, Zaleski dos Santos, and Jake Matthews. These are not bad fighters at all. And then Carlos Prates finished him, but that doesn't, there's nothing you can say. And he's been fighting good opponents still. He's still been really, really fighting good opponents. And then Ian Garry, man, honestly, his losses have aged amazingly well. He has a bunch of them, but they have aged so well. Except maybe the Gilbert Burns submission loss. But it's only a submission loss, It's only a submission loss. And he's super active. Holy shit. This is only 3 years ago. 3 years ago, and he's had 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 fights in 3 years. This is something to respect, man. That's crazy. Let me count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 fights. And this is his first fight in 2026. This is interesting. So he's been taking a bit of a break. Even though he only got subbed in his last fight. That's interesting that he's been taking that break. But maybe, some shit has been going on in his life. With this record, there's really no argument to make that he should retire. He does have 2 knockout losses in this, but they're losses against some of the best fighters in the division currently. And some of the most dangerous fighters. I think Michael Morales is a little bit overhyped personally, because I think he's technically really not that good. I think he swings super, super wild punches. But he is getting the results still, so you can't argue too much. And then Carlos Prates is very impressive. So that's not a bad loss either. And even though these are knockout losses, then winning against Dos Santos and Jake Matthews, finishing both of them. Yeah, Neil Magny is obviously still competitive, still got it. This is not a Darren Elkins situation. So that's interesting. So people are unsure whether or not he will beat Ramiz Brahimaj. And I can sort of see now why. I was a bit surprised that Neil Magny was not a big underdog. But now, I guess that Brahimaj's record is sort of better. Well, not really. It looks kind of the same, other than that the level of opposition is significantly lower. Right? Unanimous decision against Soriano. Loss. He beat Austin Vanderford and Billy Ray Goff and Mickey Gall. But these are not very good fighters. They're not terrible fighters, but yeah, this is actually quite kind of interesting. So let's see. Does he get knockouts? He never knocks anybody out. So all of his wins are basically submission wins. He's never won a decision. So he's a grappling specialist against Neil Magny, who has had how many submission victories? Only 5 and 7 losses. But he's certainly not a bad grappler. And he has the frame to defend against the grappling too, and the experience. Huh. I think I would kind of favor Neil Magny, honestly. Looking at that, I know it's not like I don't have really a technical breakdown here, but yeah. Okay, so moving on. Let's go to the next fight. But good fight. Like, these are great fucking fights to open the card. It's amazing, actually. Is there a female fight on the card other than the title fight? No. See, like, what are you fucking complaining about, dude? Like, there's only one female fight. It's the co-main event. That's not so great, but at least it's a title fight, you know. And you could argue if you're more of the, you know, like incel type that they're attractive. I mean, they are attractive, but you know, not necessarily my type. But I don't think I would go for a female fighter anyway. I would be very intimidated by that kind of profession. You know. Anyway, doesn't matter. So then we have a fight. I don't know these guys. Two Brazilians fighting each other, age 23 and age 29. This guy's when is this guy's birthday? Yeah, he's a month older than me. A little more than a month, but he's basically my age. That's so, you know, that's kind of interesting to me. He's fighting in the UFC now. Contender Series lost in LFA. Had a losing streak there in 2023. Then he won decisions, KO'd a guy in LFA. Okay, yeah, so he's only been in LFA, but apparently he's the champion there. And he's coming over to fight this Rafael Tobias guy. Right, 23, very young. Quite a lot of experience, 16 professional fights for 23. And he lost against Nurgoje, who just landed a KO. Against, who was it? Bruno Lopez. Right. And yeah, there's no other names on his record, but he's winning by submission, he's winning by KO. Might be a good prospect. Has he gotten knocked out before? Yes, he has gotten knocked out. When was this? Yeah, punch is never good to read. You know, you don't want to be the guy that gets punched and KO'd with that. That's potentially no, that is a bad sign. Not potentially, this is bad. You don't want to read punch with loss, because a punch means a KO blow. It means this guy got knocked out. And punches, if you read punches or ground and pound or something like that, it's just him on the floor, not really. I mean, it could, you know, sometimes you read that and the guy goes unconscious, but oftentimes that just means somebody on the floor covering up, not really improving his position, not really defending himself intelligently enough for the referee to not step in. And so a ground and pound TKO loss, nothing too bad, or punches, that's really not so bad to read. A submission loss, not that big of a deal, unless you're Louis Sutherland and you get heel hooked for the 4th time in a row by Walter Walker. But to read punch in his record is a bad sign. You know, doesn't mean that he's chinny, doesn't mean that he has brain damage and that he's about to get chinned again. But it also does not mean that, you know what I mean? Like, it could potentially, it is a red flag when it comes to his chin. So yeah, that's not good. Okay, so let's see. Is he a favorite? He's a bit of an underdog, yeah. So that's probably something that people are concerned about, his durability. Right, and for that to happen when you're 23 years old, I mean, look at somebody like Aaron Pico. Very young. Everybody said, "Oh man, he's so young and yet so skilled already." And everybody took that as such a great sign. And I am more of the belief that it matters, like how it doesn't matter so much how young you are when you start, but like how brutal your road is that you're gonna walk, uh, or yeah, that you're going down, right? So how much damage you accumulate, right? So I think that you can be completely shot and like brain dead, essentially, Darren Elkins level brain dead when you're 29, if you've been fighting, since a teenager. It's very possible to get the kind of brain damage and the kind of acquire the collect the kind of damage that completely destroys your body within 10 years. It's very possible. And then you're entering your physical prime, what they say is your early 30s, and you're done. You're already done. I think that's very, very possible. So it doesn't really matter. I think always when a guy starts at 30 to enter and become a UFC, I think you can totally become a UFC fighter at 30. Successful one, a professional MMA fighter at 30. And then if you do well, you can enter the UFC when your physical prime is happen, right? So most of the prospects you see are like have very few losses and like oftentimes single digit victories, which you could gather in 2 years pretty realistically, right? So you can, let's say you're like me, like 29. If you start to fight now, why wouldn't you be able to have a glorious career as a fighter if you've kept yourself in shape in this time? I think also that you can learn the skills that you need as a fighter relatively quickly. I have to admit that, even though that's gonna be very controversial, and a lot of fighters are probably not convinced by that. And I understand that you can refine your game, and you have like real like wisdom and real knowledge when you fight for like 30 or 40 years, right? And that you cannot get that within 2 or 3, but you can become so fucking good defensively and offensively and in grappling within such a short period of time, if you take it serious, that you can be successful even in the UFC. And we know this to be true because people do it all the time. You see all the time super young prospects who have all of the technical abilities that you would want, and then usually something happens. They either have bad injuries or they get knocked out, or it turns out they have this one big flaw. And then also with success, especially when you're young, comes money, comes attention, comes opportunities to do other stuff, and then people tend to get lazy, and then also your reputation is connected to the results that you're getting, and then people get sort of timid and scared. They don't want to, especially if they already have a knockout loss, that can really change you. Okay, anyway, so looks like this is going to be a good fight though, right? Nothing really to complain about. This one guy is a champ from LFA, but he's coming in. So we have 3 great fights opening the card already. Then we have Luque, and I really like Luque. Luque is getting older, and he is one of the people who I mean, I would say that when you're closing in on 35, everybody's sort of unanimously thinking that you're going towards the end of your career, because you're probably over your physical prime now. But the thing with Luke is the damage, right? He is one of those guys that has been hit in the head hard a lot. Even the what is it called? The Brian Barberina fight alone. That's a fight to watch, man. That's a great fucking fight to watch. When was that? Brian Barberina. That's 2019. Man, 7 years ago. It was a brutal fight, right? And he's had so many fights since then, and he took so much damage since then. And now he's been knocked out also, knocked out twice. Yeah, so he's probably starting to go now. Yeah. And it's really not, you can't really credit him too much submitting Kelvin Gastelum, submitting Themba Gorimbo, winning a decision victory against Rafael dos Anjos in 2023, one of his last fights, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, so Vicente Luque, even though he's a good fighter, probably starting to really decline right now. And he's fighting Trijan Gore. And I think Trijan Gore, if I don't misremember, has had a very good performance in his last fight. Yeah, I think that was against Makhachev. I think so. And he looked pretty good in that. Okay, but before that he got finished and lost a unanimous decision against Rodolfo Vieira. I'm assuming that he out-grappled him. Oh man, but he's been KO'd twice. And this looks like he's been straight up KO'd, right? So that's overhand right to ground strikes, so he got hurt and then he got ground and pounded. But here it only says straight right. And that's the same thing as reading punch, right? Because that's a singular punch that finished the fight. And I don't quite remember. Can we watch it? Can we watch a clip? I don't wanna. So I would like to find like a GIF or whatever that's called, and see Trijan Gore get KO'd by this dude, and just judge like how bad was that. Oh yeah, we can see it. Can we go for GIF? Typ animiertes GIF. I don't think we can find it like that. But we can click on a video, I'm pretty sure. Highlight video. What? On Sherdog? Oh, I guess it's a Twitter post, an X post. Can we see it? Not found. To type in Gores might not be the right. So that's on. Yeah, so there's a TikTok. This is a YouTube video. So I don't want to. Oh man, it doesn't show it, man. Come on. And TikTok always wants you to do some bullshit before you can watch the video. So I guess we can watch it, but it seems as though he got KO'd with a single punch, and that's not good. That's like a terrible sign. So I would probably go with Luque based on this stuff. Yeah, so I think there would be some value on Luque probably. Even has a reach advantage. Yeah. You kind of have to, right? Because even though Luque got finished now twice in a row, he didn't get KO'd, right? He got TKO'd. I mean, it wasn't great, but historically he's been super tough. Like, he has really shown to have an iron chin, and the fear, I guess, is that it's going away now. And it might, but it might be the case that Trejan Gore never had a chin to begin with, based on his record. And if that's the case, I'm going with fucking Luque for sure. You know what I mean? Okay, so then we have this guy and this guy fight, Eric McConico and Dante Johnson. And I really don't know who these guys are, man. I have no clue. Let's have a brief look. Won a split decision against Cody Brundage. And choked out Cedric Dumas. Yeah, okay. That's not really meaningful though. Got finished himself one time with a head kick. But it took some follow-up shots to actually finish him, so doesn't really say anything about his chin. I mean, a head kick can KO a person who has a great... His nickname is Lockjaw. That's interesting, because it does kind of imply... I mean, I don't know what it's supposed to say, but it sounds like his jaw, if his jaw is locked, it might be saying that he has like a tough jaw to crack, tough jaw to open. So maybe in the nickname is like a hint that he prides himself on being durable, or some other people think that he's durable. And maybe it's true, you know. As I said, head kick with follow-up shots doesn't mean shit. That doesn't say anything about your durability. Same as like a flying knee or like a knee to ground strikes. Who gives a fuck? Like, you got you got kneed in the face. Of course you're gonna fall to the floor. That's really not a big statement on your durability, I don't think. Okay, so then what else do we have? Yeah, okay, so here we have something that doesn't look so good on this Eric McConico. Let's look at his record. So he has 4 knockout losses. Shit. 4 knockout losses, bro. How many losses does he have in total? Oh man, bro. I mean, he only has 4 losses, but they're all knockouts. Is he the favorite? I hope not. Yeah, he is a slight underdog, but only slight. Let's see. So, okay, here he lost a grappling match. Andre Walker TKO'd him. That's hard to judge, whatever the hell that means. And then we have another KO/TKO. Yeah, difficult to judge, whatever that means. Battle in the Burg. 3. Submission loss. Heh? Ah, okay, here's more fights. Right hook. Oh man, okay, look at this. 2 single strike knockout losses in relatively short, but all in 2025, all last year. Yeah, this guy's not, like, you don't bet on a guy like that. I would not bet on a guy like that. This is bad. Alright, so you start out, you get finished a couple times, you get finished by knockout TKO, but let's give him the benefit of the doubt. It was just a bad position. He couldn't get up from the ground. He got TKO'd with ground strikes, right? Maybe he didn't even get dropped. Maybe he was just grappled down to the floor and then got ground and pounded. Doesn't have to mean anything. But then you get finished with a right hook. Not good. Okay, single strike finish, not good at all. But maybe something happened. Maybe I haven't seen it, so I can't really judge how devastating it was. But if it happened again in the same year with a single strike, then I'm relatively sure, without having seen either one of those knockouts, that you have some kind of durability issue. Okay, you're certainly not a super tough person. And that alone makes me doubt you moving forward a lot. I mean, I would honestly kind of say that depending on how bad these KOs are, you might want to start to do something else right now. You might, I wouldn't say go retire, but if you're taking losses, they don't even have to be KO losses now. If you're gonna be submitted, let's say, by this Dante Johnson guy, or in any way dominated, even if you lose a unanimous decision against this guy and it's not like a brutal war. So the reason I say that is because the guy that you're fighting now, this Dante Johnson guy, he's not that good. He's probably not a future champion. He's not some kind of special talent, probably. And so, but why does it say 8-0? I thought it always says the opponent's record. But this guy isn't 8-0. Oh, he is? I thought he lost. What? He lost by head kick and hammer fists. Or does Anthony... Oh, it's an amateur bout. He lost as an amateur. Well, it doesn't mean anything. I mean, it's still the same fucking thing. Maybe they wore head protection. I don't know exactly in Germany that's necessary for amateurs, but doesn't really matter. He still got finished in an MMA fight. Okay, so that doesn't even count on his record. Okay, so you're fighting a guy who probably isn't like a future champ, right? Probably not. I mean, maybe he looks incredible, this guy. I don't remember this guy, but if you lose to Dante Johnson now and you have 4 KO losses already, you're this early in your professional run. How old is this dude? He's 36. Brother. I mean, what are you doing? I totally respect an older gentleman to try something new, to take a risk. You need some time to get upset with your circumstances enough to where you really want to do something radical. And I think that it's not too late. I think even a 40-year-old, why not try MMA? If you really feel like it, if you really judge the risk and decide you want to take it, I have nothing against that. But if you're this age and you're taking multiple knockout losses, I mean, when is the point where you're really gonna start to reconsider your decision? How many knockout losses does it take? Right? And he also had a draw. It's not like he only had 4 losses. And a draw, you also don't want to have a draw. Unless there was some kind of weird accident that happened in it. Draw. No, just a decision draw. Yeah, I would really be kind of interested to see this guy's KO losses now. So if you don't want to watch this, you're gonna have to skip ahead a little bit. But I might not be able to find it anyway. So, so this Eric McConigal, I am so curious now to see if he got brutally slapped, even if it happened just once. He should be. This video is not available. I mean, it looks looks like it's pretty bad. If it says Baisangur Suzukaev delivers epic one-punch KO, maybe not. Maybe not the greatest. Ah, there it is. There's a video. Oh, we can see it. We can actually see it. Oh, this is so interesting. I'm just gonna have to. Right, I don't want it to be. Okay, so it's a right hand. Bang! Okay. Yeah, I mean, he's done, clearly. But he didn't, he didn't go to sleep like Jack Hermanson. Are they gonna show it again? I think so, yeah. I think they're gonna show it. Bang. Yeah, he's not out cold, right? Unless he goes to sleep after he drops to the ground. Still, like that's that's bad. See what I mean with the single strikes? When you see that in the record, you always know it's bad, and that's bad. Like it's not as bad as it could have been. There are a lot of knockout blows that are more brutal. But let's look for this other one. This other guy that slapped him with one punch. Oh, I hope we can see it. Oh, maybe. That's a YouTube clip. That could be one. That's Facebook. Let's see. Oh, okay. Okay, he didn't go unconscious, clearly. And you cannot even see the strike. What a fucking bullshit video. Okay, but he doesn't go to sleep. Maybe we can see it here. Yeah, maybe we can. Yeah. Okay, so it was this. Yeah, okay, so this wasn't bad. This wasn't that bad then. It looked almost like he voluntarily dropped to the ground as a consequence of the strike, but still. Okay, so these are not horrendous KO losses. Yeah, alright. I mean, still, if you start to really lose, and if you start to take damage in those fights, like, oh man, but that makes this fight so interesting. Again, like, this is a really interesting fight. You have this undefeated prospect who's not completely undefeated because he got KO'd in his amateur bouts. So maybe his chin can be cracked. Super interesting to see. And he's fighting this old dude who for some reason feels like he needs to do this even after getting TKO'd 4 times in his career already. And he took a brutal right hand by Susurkayev that, I mean, obviously this guy's nervous system reacted to that punch. His legs went wobbly, so his chin was cracked there. And we will see. That's so interesting. But I will say that now, having watched the knockouts, those were not that bad. I mean, they were bad. The last one was bad. The Susukayev one was bad, but he didn't go like he didn't go to sleep. And he didn't go to sleep in the Ruziboyev fight. That honestly, that didn't look bad at all. So, but still, you have to watch out for his durability. Now let's continue. So also this fight, pretty interesting. Don't hate it. Now Jalen Turner. I am super interested in Jalen Turner's fight. Man, when has he fought last? 'Cause like this motherfucker, he beat Edson Barboza last year. It's about fucking time you fight again, Jalen Turner. And he needs to destroy this Kawi Fernandez guy now, and then call out Quillen Saw killed. It's necessary, bro. It's necessary. We don't want Quillen Saw killed to fight some white guy. We don't want that. We don't give a fuck. Nobody cares about Max Holloway versus Quillen Saw killed. That's not true. But I think the meme stuff is so much more fun. So much more interesting. And don't you want to, like, destroy this guy and Drew Dober? Don't you want to shut these people up? Don't you want to represent and fuck these guys up? The minority slayers? I feel like you are in the perfect position to do that. You are the guy at lightweight to take on either Drew Dober or Quillen Saw killed. And if you win now against Kawi Fernandez, especially if you KO this dude, you're in a great position to call out Quillen Saw killed. And it would be a super hyped fight. That fight would be crazy hyped. That's the best move you can make. Like, don't call out some... It's way bigger of a fight than anybody else in the top 15 other than, like, top 5 opponents, obviously, but you're not gonna get them. Doesn't matter how good you look in this one. So I would totally call out Quillen Saw killed with a victory here. Totally, man. And like really call him out, not say like like make a statement. Call out Quillen Saw killed. That's the best fight to make. At lightweight, doesn't even matter. And I'm assuming that he's gonna win. He's a slight favorite. I'm seeing here, but I don't know this other guy, to be honest. We had a look last week in his record, but we didn't come away with too many conclusions, I don't think. Lost to Mark Diakese. Yeah, but who gives a fuck about his victories? I mean, these guys are not that impressive. Mohamed Yahya. Garam Kutateladze, is that the vault? yeah, that's the guy. He's shredded as fuck, but he's not, you know. Let's actually see. 14-5. I mean, he's not been doing too bad after getting out of the... Actually, Lucas Almeida fought in the last fight in karate combat. Yeah, but Harry Hardwick also not much to take away from that victory. You gotta go with Jalen Turner here. Probably. Although, I just don't care too much to find out how quality this guy is. I don't think you can take that much away from his winning streak right now. Right, Chidi Njukwani against Joel Alvarez. Getting kind of bored now. But, I mean, no bad fight so far. These are all interesting fights. This probably the least interesting fight. I'm only interested in Jalen Turner. But this Kawi Fernandez, there's there's nothing really interesting that sticks out on his record, you know what I mean? Like, okay, he had a head kick knockout and a body kick knockout, that's pretty cool. Armbar, pretty boring. And a calf kick. Okay, so maybe he's like a really powerful kicker. That could work against Jalen Turner. I mean, Jalen Turner has the big reach to oppose that with kicks. Might be a good idea. Yeah. Okay, next fight. Here, this is a good fight. I have to say though that I don't know either man very well. Like not in the way that I can like break down their technical game. I remember them fight. I remember seeing their performances. I also think that with Chidi, I have to admit there's it's pretty dark in my mind. I don't remember too much. Got out-grappled and submitted by Jack Matthews round 1. Lost a unanimous decision against Carlos Lidl. February 26th, yeah. I mean, I've seen that fight, but I don't remember it. Beat Zaleski dos Santos. Beat Jared Gooden. Oh, Jared Gooden. Not Jared Gordon. But honestly, I mean, Jared Gooden is probably not much worse. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Jared Gordon does have some skill. Reese McKee losing to Michael Oleksiejczuk. That has not aged so well. Even though I think Oleksiejczuk, I really like his game. Gregory Rodriguez finished this dude. Yeah. Gregory Rodriguez is one of my favorite fighters right now. I love this guy. He is so cool because let's not talk about Gregory Rodriguez. We will have an opportunity soon enough to talk about this man. I wanna actually watch that performance. I will do that after this video. I wanna see him against Chidi. And then yeah, I guess Joel Alvarez probably gonna be the favorite here, right? Yeah, moderate favorite. Lost against Almozov. That took probably a lot of his aura away. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's very difficult to say. I would assume that Joel Alvarez is like the better grappler. But I don't know how good Chidi's takedown defense is. I don't know how good his ground game is. I don't know how offensively potent he is. I don't know how defensively good he is. See, like I have like a very... It's kind of blank. I know sort of some of the stuff that's happened in his fights. In some of his fights. But I cannot tell you what he's good at and what he isn't good at. And it's similar with Joel Alvarez. I have no idea what his technical striking game is really like. I know I've seen him look impressive on the feet, but with his reach and height, that's not that much of a surprise. Like, all you need to do is get a guy tired and intimidated, and then you can tee off on him. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're a good striker, you know what I mean? So I don't know about his defensive striking, his durability. Neither do I know this about Chidi. And I also don't know how good these guys are on the ground, how good their offensive and defensive wrestling is. So I really can't break this fight down at all. I would have thought Joel Alvarez is a great grappler, but I mean, he has been out-grappled now twice. by pretty high level opponents. I mean, Amosov 30-1. That's a ridiculous record. Man, this guy, Jason Jackson, that guy must have like... Let's see his record. Yeah, he's been humbled a few times, but not too much. To be the guy to finish this dude. Yeah, okay. Well, doesn't matter. Let's return to the fight card. So this is one of the fights. I know it's gonna be a good fight. It's a high level fight, but it's not a fight I can say anything about. But I'm excited for it. Because I know that these are experienced, good fighters. You know, maybe not world class, maybe not championship level fighters, but these are good fighters. And then we get to like the co-main event of this card, man, like it should be. Edson Barboza is fighting again. And I love Edson Barboza. I love everything about Edson Barboza. Well, maybe not everything. I don't know that much about Edson Barboza. But Edson Barboza is just a fucking awesome fighter. He actually is a legend of the sport. This is a guy who deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. This is a guy that deserves to get all of the credit in the world. This is the man with the greatest highlight reel in MMA and possibly even in combat sports. This dude is a legend, Edson Barboza. And it doesn't matter that he's probably the underdog against Esteban Ribovic. It doesn't matter that he's probably gonna get tired and then beaten up and look incredibly helpless in the second and third round and then get finished embarrassingly. It doesn't really matter, because he's gonna look fast and powerful in the first round. He's gonna throw out a few crazy kicks and then have a few dynamic moves, and it's gonna look for a moment like Edson Barboza hasn't aged a day and is still as dangerous as he was in his 20s, and it's gonna look like Esteban Ribovic is going to get styled on, and then Barboza is gonna get tired, like basically after 2.5 minutes. And then he's going to increasingly take more shots, and his defense is gonna break down increasingly, and he's not even going to take up his hands anymore, and he's just going to take the punches clean, and he's not going to go down. For some reason he eats all of the shots, but he looks desperate, and then he's just going to get finished eventually, and it's going to be probably pretty sad beat down. But it doesn't matter to me. It's Edson Barboza. He's not good anymore, but the only thing I want out of this fight is that Edson Barboza has a few cool kicks and a few cool punches, and maybe like one moment that's like super epic, like if maybe he tries a flying knee or some shit, or spinning heel kick. The best case scenario would be for him to wobble Ribovic, hit him clean, and I would be happy with that, because I'm gonna take that clip and I'm gonna put it in the highlight reel of him that I'm going to make eventually, and it doesn't matter that he lost the fight, right? Because his highlight reel is already done. His highlight reel is already the best in the world and in history. His legacy is already there. And so, as one of the greatest combat sports athletes of all time, that's my opinion on Edson Barboza. And so I don't give a fuck. Esteban Ribovic, not a great fighter, not a bad fighter. Big favorite against Edson Barboza, El Gringo. Yeah, this is kind of sad, man, but man, that is soul crushing to see that he's this much of a favorite. Yeah, people don't believe in Barboza anymore, and I can totally understand why. it's really become sort of like he's kind of become like a fluke merchant, a guy that flukes, right? He might win. He might win spectacularly. He might win by knockout, but we can't really trust him to win by knockout. Trust is really not a word that you associate with Edson Barboza if you're a gambler. There is no trusting Edson Barboza anymore. Very, very unfortunately. Yeah, 40 years old. I pray for Edson Barboza, man. I'm gonna actually pray today. I don't even know if I believe or not. But I'm really hoping it. I would be so fucking happy if Barboza gets a good win against Ribovic, and if he wins, it's gonna be brutal. If he wins on the feet. If he wins, he's gonna fuck up Ribovic, and it's gonna be epic. And I really hope we're gonna see. I really hope we're gonna see an Edson Barboza clinic, like he had against Dan Hooker, and where we see him land like 200 kicks, and eventually Ribovic just can't take anymore, and he's gonna crumble. And then I want Edson Barboza to finish him with a wheel kick and sleep him brutally, and it's gonna be unbelievable. And then I don't know, he retires. I don't know. I don't actually want him to retire. I think he can continue to fight. Yeah. If his cardio was better and he would work on his defense, like all he needs is a boxing coach and better cardio. Now the cardio thing it's an interesting question with Barboza because he's so ripped. He's so incredibly shredded, so I don't know how much energy potential there is for somebody at 40 to be this shredded, right? Like he might live in a constant calorie deficit, and so I don't know exactly. I wouldn't be surprised if that's actually not so great for him. I don't know how much weight he cuts. I always thought that he doesn't cut a lot, if anything. I always thought that Barboza walks around like this, pretty much like this. But still, I mean, even if he walks around like this, he's shredded, so he doesn't have a lot of body fat. So, calorie deficit maybe increases your lifespan, but doesn't exactly increase your performance strength-wise and athletically. Doesn't have to hurt it either, though. It's just difficult to know how it's impacting Barboza because he obviously has conditioning problems, like massive cardio problems. He gasses out hard and quickly, but yeah, I don't know. Could just be age, or maybe he's just never had that great of. I will definitely watch. I hope there's already some interviews with Barboza now on YouTube. I will certainly watch it. Okay, so moving forward, Mansour Abdul Malik, Dustin Stoltzfus. Little bit interested in Stoltzfus' career because of like his German stuff, his German connection, the fact he speaks German. I think he even trains in Germany, at least part-time. So I'm interested in him a little bit, and I say a little bit because I don't think he's very good at fighting, unfortunately. And Mansour Abdul Malik got brutally beaten up, got humbled in his last fight by Yusri Belgari. But as I said last week, it's Yusri Belgari. It's a very good glory kickboxer who's fought Alex Pereira twice and has beaten many good strikers. He is not really somebody you cannot really take that much away from Mansour Abdul Malik getting beaten up by this guy, right? He had every advantage. He had the experience advantage, he had the height advantage, he had the reach advantage, he probably had the cardio advantage. He after a certain point in the fight, he certainly had the damage advantage, and he was just destroying Mansour Abdul Malik. And Malik tried to take him down. It just he trained the defense, right? Like, I think since he trains with Alex Pereira now, this Yusri Belgari, and you can see him implement the same techniques, the jabs to the body and stuff like this. He's really picking up stuff from Alex Pereira and the team. And I think one of the big parts in that team is the involvement of Glover Teixeira, who is a fighter that I think that name is going to fade away pretty quickly over the next couple of years. People are not really going to talk about Glover Teixeira much. But Teixeira was always a very, very dangerous grappler. And he's probably great grappling coach. I mean, from judging like Alex Pereira's takedown defense and grappling skill, okay, so losing to Yusri Belgari doesn't mean that much. And I'm interested in his return. I'm interested to see how he bounces back. I really liked his mentality going into the Yusri Belgari fight, and I want to see how that affected him. Because he had like a super optimistic mindset, super confident, optimistic, and I want to see what that has done to him and how he has internalized that. Or we will see. And he's probably gonna be Dustin Storsfuss, I would guess. Heavy favorite, you can see. Heavy favorite, man. Again, probably too much. Okay. Like all of these fights that we've just discussed so far are interesting at the very least. Probably this Tobias Fernando fight is the least interesting, as well as those two, Jalen Turner, Kari Fernandez, and Dante Johnson, Eric McConico. But I found an angle that gets me interested. I'm actually really glad I'm doing these videos, because I wouldn't have looked this stuff up without it, and I would have just watched the fights and not cared at all. And now I have some angle that gets me interested, at least, Now here, Charles Johnson. We know Charles Johnson. He is an interesting fellow, but he's had some great performances and some really bad ones. But famously, he KO'd Joshua Van, and this is probably like his most impressive victory up until this point. But also Lona Kavanagh, he destroyed that guy. Well, maybe not destroyed, but he finished him. And Lona Kavanagh, 10-2. Charles Johnson. Brandon Royval. Rear naked choked him. Yeah. Of course, that was a great fight too. But he's a high level opponent now. He's far in the rankings. Number 6, he fought Brandon Moreno, beat him, and then lost to Brandon Royval in a great fight though. Right, because that was the corner card, right? Yeah. That was a great fight. So Charles Johnson has a few very, very good wins. And he's fighting Jose Ochoa, Calcifier. And he is a nobody as far as I'm concerned. There's really nothing to take away from this. Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah, I can't really take away anything from this. Finishing Cody Durden with a left hook. Okay, I guess, I mean, that's not a bad victory. But then losing to Azo Amabayev and Lona Kavanagh, right? Not necessarily an awful thing. But beating Clayton Carpenter via unanimous decision doesn't really mean that much to me. Yeah, so this guy, I don't know why this guy is put so far on top of this card. Like, this should be like the opening fight as far as I'm concerned. I mean, that would be a little bit disrespectful to Charles Johnson, I guess. But Charles Johnson has not even, like, he's not even ranked. Right? And he's actually an underdog. I don't see why you would make him an underdog. I get that he's not had the greatest run recently. And he also got beaten by Azo Amabayev. Yeah, I don't know, man. What? Wait a minute. Did this guy beat Azo Amabayev, or did he lose to him? No, he lost to him. Let me click on Amabayev. That guy. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm not actually that interested in this fight, I have to say. This is not that interesting to me, but that's also because of the fact that it's a flyweight fight. Flyweight fights tend to have less knockouts. And even though Charles Johnson has had some great performances, he's also had some not great performances, kind of boring performances, to be honest, also. Yeah, so I actually kind of care about this fight the least so far. That might surprise a lot of people, but luckily not a lot of people are listening to this anyway, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, and then we have the co-main event, Mackenzie Dern fighting Gillian Robertson. I have no technical breakdown of this. And I don't care to make one. I really don't give a fuck. I mean, there's both of these girls are known for their grappling. Mackenzie Dern will throw punches with power. So she's got that going for her, and I think that Gillian Robertson is more or less a standard female WMMA striker, which means that she punches, and she might even have decent technique with her punches, but there's not really any serious smack power behind it, so it doesn't matter. Mackenzie Dern can actually knock somebody out with her punches, because she really she leans into it, she throws with power. Mackenzie Dern can knock out a man. I don't know if Gillian Robertson can. So I would guess that Mackenzie Dern wins. But then again, can't really rely on that at all. Like, even you can't trust her to do the right thing, right? Because I would recommend to Mackenzie Dern to have a striking match here with Gillian Robertson, and maybe I'm seriously underrating Robertson's striking. If she jabs consistently and her defense is good. Does she have a reach advantage? Same reach. Slightly more height for Gillian Robertson, so she's okay with the reach. She can jab. She can have success with the jab. So she needs to keep her hands up, have a Justin Gaethje type boxing guard, a tight guard, and then jab the fuck out of Mackenzie Dern, and she can beat her in the striking department if she does that. However, I don't know if she will do that. And Mackenzie Dern, she's just not going to be a technical striker at all. She's had so much time to develop a technical striking game. She hasn't done it. She's just gonna swing. But she's gonna swing with power. And that's like such a big deal if you can actually finish the fight on the feet. If you can actually scare a woman away from you and intimidate her because she fears that she might actually get KO'd by you, then that's such an important advantage to have. So it doesn't really matter that Mackenzie Dern is like technically super bad at striking, swinging hard. It makes up for a lot of that. Yeah, of course she can lose on the feet, right? Like, cause she sucks, you know. She sucks at striking, but she has power. And Jillian Robertson, she is maybe technically better, but she doesn't have any power. So it's not gonna matter too much unless she wants to win the decision. Yeah, and then in the grappling, it's impossible to say. Yeah, no clue. Absolute no clue. Total coin flip of a fight. Although I'm okay with Mackenzie Dern being the favorite because she has the power advantage, you know what I mean? And then we have the main event. And if you're expecting me to break this down in a super genius way, I'm not gonna do that. Because I don't really watch Ian Garry or Islam Makhachev fights with the greatest amount of attention paid. And the reason I don't do that is because I don't like either one of those guys. I don't like him. I respect Makhachev, but I don't like him. And I don't care for him to win because I don't like him. And I also have to say, even though I respect Volkanovski, I've sort of not really been watching a lot of the Volkanovski fights because I think Volkanovski's not that exciting. Call me crazy. Then, of course, he had the atrocious performance against Jack Della Maddalena. So what I'm saying here is, I didn't really watch the Jack Della Maddalena fight. I just skipped through it. Because I usually watch these cards the next morning. So I didn't really see anything there, but he held him down the whole time. I did watch the Dustin Poirier fight. Did watch the Moicano fight. Did not see the Volkanovski fights, only the highlights. So I didn't see that decision performance against him. I haven't seen the Charles Oliveira fight, man. Yeah, so I lack the information. And then with Ian Garry, same thing. Have not seen him beat Carlos Prates by decision. Don't really remember. I think I've seen that. Bilal Muhammad against him. Don't remember too much of it. Yeah, I just can't give you a technical breakdown of this. I don't know these guys too much because I don't like them. I don't watch them that much. Like, if they have a fight and I find out, oh, it's a decision victory, nice, then I will skip through a highlight video on YouTube. Or not even. That's not something where I go crazy. It's not like they're Gaethje or Poirier or Holloway or Ferguson when he was must-see TV. These guys are good, technically good, very respectable from a technical perspective, but they're not so consistently exciting that I care to watch them fight. And on top of that, I don't really sympathize with either one too much, so I just don't really give a fuck if they win a decision, and then I won't watch it. So there's no breakdown for this one for me. I think that's just aura here. That's just aura. That's the Dagestani betting advantage that he gets here. I don't see why he is so much better than Ian Garry. Ian Garry has multiple advantages in this fight. He has an age advantage. He has a height advantage. He has a reach advantage. And he also, there's always a lot of pressure on Ian Garry because of the incredible amount of hate that he gets, and also because his wife is like an evil emperor overseeing. His wife is like Darth Sidious if he is Darth Vader, and so there's always a dark force, a looming, threatening force that that puts pressure on Ian Garry to perform. But so far it's worked. Right? He does not want to disappoint his mother, Leila Machado Garry. And Islam Makhachev, he has pressure from like his dad or whoever the fuck is the guy who trains the Dagestanis, and he has like ethnical and religious pressure put on him because he's the representative of the inbred Muslim community from Dagestan. I'm sorry, man, but the stuff with the inbreeding, it's if you are in a conversation with me and you're from Dagestan, and I probably wouldn't in a direct confrontation say that I think you're inbred, but I think that I would absolutely be able to point to the research that has been done on this topic, and that does identify that region as a region where a lot of inbreeding has taken place. And that's also true for Germany to some degree. I don't even see it as something too horrible if it's a fact. Like, why wouldn't you just own it if it's a fact? Right? People shame you for being inbred, but if you're inbred, then why wouldn't you just say, yeah, okay, I'm not so inbred that I can't live healthy. My hairline is better than yours. My body is better than yours. I can beat the fuck out of you. So why would I care that you call me inbred? Especially not if it's true, So I wouldn't even take that as too much of an insult if I was in the position of Islam Makhachev or Khabib. They do look funny. They do look funny. They have a funny face, but I'm sure there's some people who are really handsome who are the product of inbreeding also, and then that might not have anything to do with that. And also, I will say this: I don't know if that beard style is really the most what would you say, like the most flattering style. So maybe if they do looks maxing, if they do like a live stream with clavicular, then there could be a real like maybe not like beautiful man in there, but a decent looking man. He's got the hairline. They all have pretty great bodies. I mean, their body genetics are very good. I mean, I have no idea if he grows out the beard. The eyebrows are pretty good. Nose is not. Yeah, nose tends to not be great with the Dagestanis, but Khabib and Islam, I think, have fine noses. The ears are not so good. Maybe grow out the hair, make it really long. It could look nice, honestly. Get a mustache, shave down a little bit of the neck beard. Maybe there's a decent jawline. I wouldn't be surprised if they had decent jawlines, Khabib and Islam, because they have testosterone, right? And it looks like it doesn't look like with them, with Khabib and Islam, that the testosterone that's in their bodies is only something they received through the doping program of Russia. I think that they might actually have genetically high testosterone given the way that their bodies are shaped. I wouldn't be surprised, because they look like they have athletic genes, the genes of athletes. Their body builds are like really, really nice, like very aesthetic. But I think that there is a right, look at that. I mean, that's a very, very, like, all of the like muscle insertions and all of this is a super well defined, well proportioned upper body and lower body, I'm assuming. And Islam has a similarly good and I think that when you look like that, which is of course genetically determined, like all of the insertions and the way the proportions and that type of stuff, right? That's all genetic. And I think if you're genetically designed in this kind of way, you probably naturally have high testosterone, right? You wouldn't even need external substances. And the reason I say that is because I feel like that's true for other people with good builds, and it's certainly true for me, because I have a very shredded, quite aesthetic body. I got lucky in this way, and even though I might not sound like I have very high testosterone, I have very high testosterone for a man in my age group. So there's like a reference score, right, where it says like 99 or 95% of the population are within this range. And the last time I checked my testosterone, it was outside of that range. Not much, and I know testosterone has been going down significantly since the 50s. So I'm probably not like crazy with the testosterone, but I have much more testosterone than the average man has nowadays. So, and I have also an aesthetic build, and so I think that's genetically like you can see that within the body composition. Yeah, that's what I think. Because I mean, sometimes you see some guy who's like let's look up some like roid dwarf people. Roid dwarf. But sometimes you see people who are just fucking so strange built, And I was thinking, yeah, this guy is clearly, I mean, this guy has weird body builder proportions. Let's see if we can find something. Okay, this guy just tore his chest. This is all AI stuff. These are all fake. Yeah, this is not exactly what I was looking for. Okay, so this guy might be a real example. These might be real people, I'm not sure. But this is sort of what I'm kind of like thinking about. Not great examples. I'm talking more like a guy with narrow shoulders and like super what is this? Yeah, with this kind of stuff, the Andrei Smaev type of stuff, it's difficult to tell with the testosterone because these are just gigantic people. Is that the same person? Yeah. Well, yeah, okay, so this is probably a good example. So imagine this guy getting like, okay, he's already, I guess, roided up here. I'm not sure. Stunning body transformation, how to do it right, 50 pics. Yeah, so let's assume this guy's on testosterone. You can see with certain people, they have very strange builds even when they're on testosterone. They have narrow shoulders, weird, like a weird gut hanging out, odd proportions. They don't look athletic at all. And I always feel like those are people who are genetically low testosterone people. This guy's built pretty athletically, like he's just fat in this picture. Yeah. Also sort of athletic there, you know. There's no muscle development in this, but yeah, I mean, so there's plenty of people who I think they just don't have the genetic they're just not meant to be like super strong people. Their ancestors didn't get by doing fighting, doing combat, doing hard labor. They did something else, accounting or some shit, and that selected out the genes for broad shoulders and shit. So with me, for example, how will I say this? So my last name is a German word, and it means from Old High German, it means warrior. And so knowing that, and knowing that the name is only common in a certain region and has been common there for like 1,000 years, it's not that much of a surprise. And then also knowing that in my family the young men are all shredded as fuck and all like built with broad shoulders and shit, that's kind of why I'm thinking about it in this way, because I think there's like just a genetic thing. Like some of my ancestors have apparently been associated with fighting warriors, and I still carry that same build in my genes, you know. And I'm not saying they, like, because they were warriors, they gave those body genes to us and me. I'm saying that because of their body genes, they probably became warriors, right? Because it was just fucking strong and athletic. And yeah, that's probably been going on for a long time. So yeah, well, doesn't matter. Let's end it here. Decent fight card. Honestly, I don't give a shit about the main and co-main event. I care much more about the stuff before. Like, top 3 fights are honestly like the least interesting to me, in all seriousness. You know, of course, this is a great fight, you know. I mean, on its own, this would be a great fight. But I don't care about this more than I care about Barboza against Ribovic. I don't care about this more. I probably don't even care about this more than I care about Luke Gore or Oral by Wells. I just don't. That's just not my thing, man. Okay.